On a lot of websites, you can only see results for an exact location you search for. Well, Trivago does it differently. On Trivago, you can simply use the map, explore the whole area, and as you move along, Trivago keeps showing you all the hotels that meet your search criteria. And that's one more way Trivago helps you find your ideal hotel for the best price. Hotel Trivago.
Looking for the best TV and internet experience? The easiest way to access Netflix? More to stream to any screen? The best in-home Wi-Fi experience? And up to 100 megabits per second of speed when you bundle? Fact for fact, only Xfinity delivers it all. Enjoy the best TV experience with Xfinity X1, plus the fastest speeds, the most in-home Wi-Fi coverage, and now more ways to control your home network. Xfinity X5 will change the way you Wi-Fi. Click, call, or visit a store to learn more.
Battle Beyond Dead and win cash during Zombie Fest, a virtual reality tournament only at Muckleshoot Casino. Throughout October, qualify for our finals on October 31st for your chance to win a share of $12,000. Visit muckleshootcasino.com for schedules, details, and top league totals. Zombie Fest, a virtual reality gaming tournament. Fight the undead and win cash. Muckleshoot Casino, the biggest and best in the Northwest.
Capitol Hill correspondent Casey Hunt hosts a new show. This week, Speaker Paul Ryan. KCDC premieres tomorrow at 7 on MSNBC.
Welcome back. New information now in the Russia hacking probe. An NBC News investigation reveals financial ties between President Trump's former campaign chief and a Russian oligarch go much, much deeper than previously believed. The report links Paul Manafort to a $26 million loan from a firm owned by Oleg Deripaska, a Russian billionaire with close ties to Vladimir Putin. That loan would bump up the total amount of known business dealings between Manafort and Deripaska to about $60 million over the last decade. As special counsel Robert Mueller and his team zero in on Trump's inner circle, Reince Priebus was in the hot seat on Friday. The former chief of staff's lawyer saying, quote, he was happy to answer all questions. Joining me now, Naveed Jamali, former FBI double agent and now a contributor to MSNBC. And I also want to bring back Aaron McPike, chief Washington correspondent for Independent Journal Review, and Eugene Scott, political reporter for the Washington Post, as promised. Naveed, welcome to the party. Let me start with you. Paul Manafort's maintained his innocence throughout this thing. His attorney initially said Manafort wasn't indebted to former clients. He revised his statement and removed that part. What is going on here?
Yeah, what is going on indeed? That is the question. Look, I think on one level, it sure looks like Paul Manafort was seriously up to his eyeballs in Russian money. I mean, I think we can say that. Where the criminality lies is one question. The second question is, if that criminality did in fact occur, does that somehow get us closer to collusion? Does that indebtedness, does that taking the money from Russians, from Deripaska, for example, and taking a loan with apparently incredibly beneficial repayment terms, to be kind, does that somehow provide motive and perhaps a vehicle for the Russians to, you know, what we would call in the espionage business, give them taskings?
Let me turn that back around to you, Aaron, and ask you the question that Naveed posed. Does this get us closer to collusion?
Yeah, Jacob, in the lawyer's statement, he said that Manafort did not collude with the Russian government. That leaves all kinds of space, because maybe he never spoke to a Russian official of the Russian government, but he obviously was talking to a number of Russians. So there clearly could have been some sort of middleman, some sort of pass-through, and that doesn't mean that he didn't collude in general. He certainly could have. In the lawyer's comment, though, he also says that Manafort wants all the intercepts released. But look, you don't get to diverting millions and millions of dollars through the Cayman Islands without learning a couple of tricks. So they might never get intercepts of specific nefarious behavior, but it definitely could have occurred in person. You know, who knows? There's so much more there to be uncovered that you know, we'll see what happens with this investigation.
Drip, 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 as they say. Eugene, let me ask you about Reince Priebus, because he was interviewed by Bob Mueller's team on Friday. Few people were physically closer to the President of the United States during the early days of the administration and, of course, the investigation. Should the president be worried at this point?
I certainly would think so. Primarily because the president has not consistently been loyal to Reince Priebus, and at this point, there's no reason to believe that Reince Priebus will continue to be loyal to the president. He has a desire. It's reasonable for him to want to clear his name and be concerned about his legacy long-term in Washington, D.C. This is not how he was expecting his political career to end. And if there is something that could help clarify to people who look at him with some level of skepticism about his own personal involvement in this situation, he would want to clarify that because he wants to move forward, continue his political career, and be a person of influence in politics. And one of the best ways he can do that is make it clear to people involved in this investigation that his hands were clean.
Aaron, I got to ask you about what we saw from Politico. They're reporting that Trump's lawyers might offer Bob Mueller's team a chance to interview President Trump. How likely do you think it is that the president's actually going to take the offer, sit down with Bob Mueller?
I doubt that it's likely anytime soon, but again, drip, drip, drip. I mean, at some point, Trump himself might want to try to clear his name as best he can do that. I don't think we're going to see that in the next month or two, but, you know, maybe, who knows, maybe by the end of the year.
Who knows? Hashtag who knows. Before I come back around to you, Naveed, I want to ask Eugene, if this interview materializes between Trump and Bob Mueller, will the president, who cannot even stick to a teleprompter, be able to answer questions with coaching from a legal team?
He can be coached. Will he follow through with the coaching? That remains to be seen. I think all of us have seen some of the transcripts of when he's in an interview. He tends to answer questions in a way that seems to be quite different from the way the question was actually asked, to the degree that it brings up the question, did any new information that was helpful actually come out? And so while I think the president may eventually be interviewed, I'm not confident that he will be the person that will provide the most information needed to make a conclusion about what actually happened related to his campaign in Russia.
Naveed, I saw you up there nodding your head. Go for it.
Just to add on to what Eugene is saying, look, Donald Trump is someone who has gone after Gold Star parents. He's gone after prisoners of war. He's gone after Rosie O'Donnell. The only person he has not gone after is Vladimir Putin. So when you talk about potentially testifying, perhaps the biggest point of guilt that Donald Trump is going to have to address is the fact that he has never spoken out about Vladimir Putin, about Russia. He has consistently denied them, consistently defended them. And look, evidence aside, that perhaps just as a knee-jerk reaction is incredibly problematic to have the President of the United States not condemn Vladimir Putin. Or to even admit that Russia was involved in election meddling. It is odd, to say the least.
All right, always enjoyed talking with all of you. Naveed Jamali, Aaron McPike, Eugene Scott, thank you very much. Appreciate it, and good to see you all. And now turning to a dire situation in the California firefight. More than 30 are dead, hundreds are missing, and thousands of homes have been destroyed by wildfires. Coming up next, a live report from the ground as firefighters continue to try to stop the fast-moving flames. We'll be right back.
This is our home, and it hurts to see it just burn.